It's almost my birthday. On Monday, June 10th, I'm turning 39. I know, I kind of can't believe it, but I also kind of love it. That's a nice change, considering I braced myself for my 30th birthday the way my dad prepped for Y2K, with fear, uncertainty, and a whole lot of Kraft macaroni and cheese. Hi, I'm Kelly Shanley, and this is For Love or Peanut Butter, a true life dating podcast in which a seemingly eligible yet perpetually single woman, that's me, finally delves into the why and the how she has remained single into her mid-30s. And she changes her life forever. Once a late bloomer, always a late bloomer. From puberty to parenthood, I've always been a little behind schedule. I was sad about being single, disappointed to still be just a waitress, heartbroken about my dad dying, and just holding on for dear life like a 6-year-old in a mutton busting competition at the county fair. 30 was the age by which I was supposed to have my shit together, or so society told me. At the ripe old age of 29 3/4, I had failed on every front.
Wow, that's bleak.
Everyone I knew was graduating law school, getting married, buying houses, and having babies. I was graduating Improv 101, getting ghosted, buying dollar store toiletries, and being a baby after one too many vodka sodas.
I'm really sorry. You have no idea. So many people do bad things and I didn't mean to.
I'd felt this way before, as though I'd fallen behind and would never catch up. Like everyone around me was moving effortlessly in the right direction and I had blown a tire at the corner of Starving Artist Avenue and Forever Alone Lane. But this feeling didn't last, because eventually I fixed my flat and caught up. I was just a late bloomer. Yes, I'm talking about puberty and my extended layover at No Tits Terminal at the port of no periods. I have never been more hateful of my own body than I was when I was willing it to grow breasts and bleed for the first time. My sister is 2 years older than me, and she was an early bloomer, tall with long legs and big boobs from age 12. I was short, flat, and boyish. We sat for a delightful sibling portrait when she was 13 and I was 11. We looked 10 years apart in age, like Jesse Spano and Dennis the Menace playing brother and sister in some long-lost gem of a 90s family sitcom. It's evident on our faces we were both wildly self-conscious. Me looking like an 8-year-old boy, her looking like a 20-year-old woman. Early or late, there's just never a good time for puberty.
There's a lot of puberty in there.
We all want what we can't have. So naturally, I was obsessed with boobs.
Boobies, boobies, boobies. Nothing but boobies.
Like the prepubescent boys I so tragically resembled, I was consumed.
Booby, 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 booby.
You know how when the clock strikes 11:11, you're supposed to make a wish? I never missed one. And do you know what I wished for? 11, 12, 13-year-old me?
Boobies?
Not for my crush to pass me an intricately folded note in homeroom, or for my parents to get me a pager, or even to own everything in the latest Delia's catalog.
Boobies?
I wished for boobs. Twice a day, every day. I was a woman, girl, possessed.
Boobies!
How fucking sad is that? Of all the things I was involved in and could have focused my energy on, all I could think about was my underdeveloped mammary glands and the unopened box of Tampax under my bathroom sink, mocking me.
It mocks us!
Of course, I got my period eventually, but I was almost 16 years old.
Wait, what?
For the men listening, that's really late. I also grew 6 inches in high school. I was 5'1" when I entered and 5'7" when I graduated. I believe the kids call that a glow up these days. I was no Cher from Clueless, but hey, I had finally caught up. That's what I try to remember now when I feel like I'll never sell a script, see my face on TV, or get to host Saturday Night Live. I'm not following the timeline society said I should. It's utter chaos, and sometimes I hate myself for wanting what I want. But it's chill. It's very chill. Thank God weed is legal in California.
When I smoke marijuana.
I was already 29 years old when I started doing stand-up, and wow, did I feel ridiculous chatting with 22-year-olds who had been at it longer than me. But I kept going. I had walked away from opportunities before because I felt I would be too old by the time they came to fruition, but I realized finally that it doesn't matter when you start something as long as you start it. It's like those giant jawbreakers from my middle school days. If you don't start sucking now, you'll never break through.
Oh, that sucked.
Now comes the good part.
Because I have no kids, no house, no husband, that's not sad, stay with me. I've also been able to travel. In order to write, you must have experiences about which to write, right? Right! I've always regretted not studying abroad in college. So a few years ago, I joined a program called Remote Year, and in just 4 months, I visited 12 countries and 15 cities across 2 continents. The best thing about being a late bloomer on the whole Euro trip adventure? When you actually have money, you don't have to share a room in a hostel with a startling weirdo named Rupesh who parades around in his maroon briefs, follows you to the bathroom, and then somehow texts you days later, even though you never gave him your international phone number.
Stalker alert.
So no, I haven't birthed a child, bought a mansion, or won an Emmy. But you know what I have done? I've gone scuba diving at the Great Barrier Reef. Had lunch in Bosnia on my way to Dubrovnik with a hot stranger I met in Croatia, and gone cage diving with great white sharks in South Africa.
Hello, my name is Bruce.
Hello, Bruce.
I've dressed up like Yara Greyjoy from Game of Thrones and done some really bad sword fighting in Northern Ireland. I've flirted with a cute Czech waiter who served me pork knuckle and $2 Pilsners. I've been hungover at the Palace of Versailles and the Vatican and at a beekeeping exhibition in Prague. Don't try that at home. Apparently, the bees can smell the alcohol seeping out of your pores and it makes them agitated. You've been warned. I honestly don't know if any of those things would have happened had I found my person and settled down at the ripe old age of 25. I also wouldn't have had to endure the last decade of disappointing dating disasters in LA, but hey, it gave me all this wonderful fodder to write about, so I guess it was meant to be.
Oh, Muse, you work in mysterious ways.
My 30s have been magical compared to my 20s. I finally accomplished the things I thought I had to do before 30. Only I did them much better because they happened when they were meant to. My career is much further along. I'm booking stand-up shows regularly. I'm a published humor writer with a syndicated column. I created this gem of a podcast. Also, I finally learned how to fall in love with myself. And wow, it is so refreshing to not wake up and hate myself every day.
It's a beautiful morning.
Don't even ask about the home ownership, okay? I live in California, so you know how that's going. But I do have a rent-controlled apartment in Santa Monica, and that's good enough for me. So, to those of you out there feeling like you're starting over, falling behind, or perhaps have just always been a bit behind, maybe you're just a late bloomer like me. Don't sweat it. We're just making sure those roots are really set, sturdy, and nourished. But once we bloom, we bloom hard. I'm Kelly Shanley, and this is For Love or Peanut Butter. For Love or Peanut Butter is created, written, and performed by me, Kelly Shanley. Produced and edited by Z. Rodriguez Thomas for Mind Jam Media. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow the podcast and leave us a glowing review. If you can't wait to hear the next one, check out the column of the same name on Medium. Link in show notes. And be sure to follow me on social media. On Instagram and TikTok, you can find me at Kelly A. Shanley. On YouTube, Facebook, and Medium, at Kelly Shanley. Thanks so much for listening, and stay crunchy out there. Or smooth.
Boobies!
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 Yay! Boobies!
Wait, let me do that. Yay! Boobies!
All right, now do it where you're not laughing.
Yay! Boobies!